Hey guys, and welcome to our next video in the F-86 F Sabre in this beautiful plane. And as I said, the second video of the tutorial series will be the takeoff, and probably I will also do the landing. So I will do a traffic circuit. I don't know which way, it's well, as I like it at the moment. But I will do a takeoff and landing now. Make sure your flaps are down, your speed brakes are retracted. We will take a look outside of the plane. We see no speed brakes and the flaps are fully down. If you have your landing light extended, I usually retract it before takeoff or while taking off, so I don't have to worry about this getting destroyed when I fly really fast. So as you can see, it's retracted now. Switch back to the cockpit. Yeah, don't push the front steering wheel button. It's usually not a good idea when you're getting faster, because the plane really tends to slide to the right or to the left. It's not very responsive in that way. You need to think, I don't know, 50 meters or more in front of the airplane. So what it's doing, what are you now doing now? It just needs its time to react to your inputs. So get off the no. You don't necessarily need to get off the brakes now. It's an old engine, so it needs its time to spool up. I will move my throttle to the full position, and you will notice it needs its time to get to full power, and let go the brakes. That looks good. A little bit of left rudder to keep it nice and straight. And our airspeed is alive, which you can see here. We have 100 knots. At around 130, 140 knots we pitch up. Not too much, because you can damage your back. So pitch up, rotate, and we're airborne. Gear up, flaps up. Our flaps are up, gears up, all right. Putting this trim a little bit to the front, so nose trim. It's easier to fly. Going out of full power, so all needed are going back into the green. Looking back to the airport. Yeah, and that's it. That's how easy the takeoff in the F-86 is. I was really surprised how easy it is, to be honest. Yeah, nice. Alright, not a very nice traffic circuit, of course, but it will do the job, just to show you guys how it's done. Alright, a little to the right and trim to the nose and leveling off. We have 340 knots. Going back on the throttle, I don't want to get too fast, so always look back to the airfield. Okay, I will do a little bit longer approach than usual, just to have more time to explain how it's done. Alright, the first thing you want to do when you're on approach, you want to put out your air brakes. You want to fully put out your air brakes. One of the reasons is because it's an old engine, as I said. It's just it's a lot more responsive when you have power engaged. So at maybe 80% power, it's much more responsive, and that's exactly what you need when landing. You can't need a delay of power inputs like 3 or 4 or 5 seconds. that's not very practical. So then, as we are in our corner now, we want to put out our gear and in the same time put down our flaps to the fully down position. Alright, it seems like we have a problem with our front wheel. And we will try to put it back in. That works fine, okay. I know I got too low, so flaps going up again. Going around because I lost the airfield. Where is it? Probably heading directly towards it. No, there it is. Okay. Our speed brakes are still open. Yes. Put our flaps down again and put our gear down again. Hopefully it will work, but it's not working great. So it's pretty easy to damage your gear. I don't know which is the emergency release for the gear at the moment, so we will do a belly landing. It's not a problem, I've done it before. Just make sure you do your final approach like every time. That's too low here. And we will trim the airplane to the usual takeoff trim. Put the trim aft until the light flashes. And I'm sitting pretty low here. That's not nice. So I nearly can see the runway. There it is. And we want to have 150 knots on approach. Oh, that's really bad when you can't see it. And pull back your power. Pull back, and there we are down. And now control it with the rudder. So you don't slide to the left or right, because when the wing breaks off, you probably will end upside down on the canopy and can't get out of the plane. But that's okay. We managed to get down. Where it is? There it is. There it is. Yeah. We managed to get down safely, and that's the most important thing. A very unusual tutorial, and now as I think about it, I will do probably the normal landing again. So we will see us right away. So guys, here we are back again in the F-86 on our approach, right downwind. So I changed a little option there to raise the pilot seat when I put out my gear, or put down my gear, sorry. So it should probably work better now. So procedure again, put out my air brakes, mirror on, okay, and they're out. Take a look back to the airfield. There it is. We don't want to lose so much altitude because, as we have seen in the landing try before, it's not working very good when you're too low. So I'm now putting down my flaps slowly. I will take off trim my stick. So now fully extend the flaps. We are below 200 knots. Gear down. And there we see that our view goes up. So gear is down. And there's our airfield. Put in a little bit more power. That's going to be a very long approach, of course. Make sure don't descend too fast. Alright. Wait, I've lost it again. Probably just somewhere in front. Where is it? Can't see it. Am I blind? It's funny sometimes. To the left side, okay. It should be probably there, over there, somewhere. I'm heading directly towards it, okay. And now I'm low again. As you can see, not a very nice approach as the one before. But I have to say I don't fly in 2B very often. I usually fly in VR. So there it is. So in VR you have a much better perception of how fast you're going, how far something's away. You have a much better situational awareness of your surroundings, and you also know exactly where the airfield or the airport is. It's difficult for me to do that in front of a screen, so I'm sorry for that. But now everything's okay, as we can see the airport, and we found it. So on the 2-mile final we have 160 knots. That's right where we want to go in our approach, in our final approach, around 150, 160 knots. Straight in front of the runway. So keep that like it is. Probably drop the nose a little bit, going back on the throttle, don't get too fast. Remember to take off trim, that's important. But if you haven't done it yet, don't do it, because it just makes things worse at the moment. So 160 knots, going back on the throttle, completely back, and flare. Oh, that was too much. Alright. Not the best landing I ever did, of course, and putting up the landing flaps. So one important thing I want to mention is when you are flaring, make sure you touch down on the 2 wheels in the wings and try to keep the nose up as long as possible, because the nose wheel is damaged pretty easily. If you touch down with this too hard, a little bit too hard, it's damaged and you can't retract it, or it collapses or something like that. By the way, we can retract our air brakes. Right. There we go. So keep the nose up, or as soon as you touch down, keep the nose up as long as possible, and slowly lower the nose so the front wheel touches down very softly. And the other thing is, you can't brake, or you can't use the wheel brakes as long as the front wheel isn't on the ground. So as soon as your front wheel touches down, then you can brake, but not before that. Okay, that's important too. And another thing that's very important when you're landing, as long as you're still very fast, don't use your nose wheel steering. That will kill you probably, or at least will damage the aircraft pretty badly, because when you're going too fast, as with the engine, also the nose wheel steering isn't that responding, and it's have a kind of delay in it. So when you hold down the nose wheel steering button and put in completely, and you put in full right rudder, it needs a second to go in, but you already have to put full left rudder in to counteract it and prevent it from going off the runway or off the track. So keep that in mind, that there's this plane has a lot of delays regarding to your control inputs in it. So the engine is a little bit slower, the nose wheel steering is a little bit slower. So keep that in mind, that's important. And when you're landing, don't use your nose wheel steering. Just use it when you're really slow, and yeah, probably as soon as the rudder isn't working anymore because you're too slow. So that's then the right speed to use your nose wheel steering. Yeah, I'd say. All right. So much about that. That was the landing. Yeah, that was the takeoff and the landing. So traffic circuit, or right in traffic circuit, more or least. And thank you very much for watching. I hope you haven't too much difficulties in understanding me. Yeah, my English is not the very best, so yeah. I hope you liked the video, and I hope you learned something. And all I just can say now is have fun, fly safe, and goodbye. We see us at the next video. Bye bye.